Good morning, Staten Island. Welcome to the fourth segment of our show entitled Nonprofit Matters, featuring nonprofits and faith-based institutions who are changing the lives of residents on Staten Island. My name is Valerie Oliver-Durrah, and I'm the founder and the president of the Neighborhood Technical Assistance Clinic, and our mission is to help nonprofits to not only grow but to thrive and to do their work more effectively. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, I would like to remind you that the nonprofit community is the largest employer on Staten Island, and as such, there are so many organizations that are doing great work that I hope that you will enjoy getting to know more about. If you're joining us for the first time, I want to remind you that the nonprofit community is the largest employer on Staten Island. As such, many nonprofits are doing great work, and I hope that you will enjoy getting to know them better and discovering how you might get involved. In our past episodes, we've had the pleasure of talking with Alice Austin House, Richmond Senior Services, Liberian Cultural Association, Sundog Theater, the Harbor Lights Theater Company, the Tibetan Museum, Camp Good Grief, Central Family Life Center, and today I am pleased to welcome two new organizations, the United States Wallball Association, headed up by Jasmine Ray, and Staten Island Slim Down, who is represented by Natalie Gwade. Welcome to our show, ladies. It's nice to have you here. What a wonderful time to be talking about two organizations that are doing something to change the physical way in which we look and how we feel. I think everyone would agree that having a healthy community means having healthy people, and both of you all are involved with activities within your organization's mission to help us to live better and to be better people. Yep. I'd like to start out asking you a little bit about your organization, your mission, and how you actually came up with the idea of this United States Wallball and then the Staten Island Slim Down. Why don't you start, Jasmine?
Okay, sure. Well, the name is the United States Wallball Association. Mm-hmm. I started about 6 years ago now, and I am the president and founder of the organization. And what we do is we utilize the sport of handball sort of as a vehicle to inspire and empower people's lives. And we do that by hosting tournaments and free handball clinics throughout the city in all 5 boroughs. And we don't just have the kids come out and play handball, but we also provide resources in every single tournament that we have. So, for example, we partnered with NYPD Community Fairs, and we have an anti-violence tournament. We have partnered with Health First, and we have a anti-obesity tournament where we provide resources on, eating healthy and food options. We have another tournament called Prep for Success, and that's where we partner with local banks, Investors Bank and TD Bank, and they provide the kids and the teenagers with financial literacy. And so,
excellent.
Yeah, thank you. So we utilize the sport of handball because the sport of handball is one of the most popular sports. Mm-hmm. Even according to the New York City Parks Department, it's one of the most popular activities in all of New York City. We have 2,055 handball courts spread out amongst all 5 boroughs, and there are over 100,000 people that play the sport, spread out through all 5 sports. So we cater to specifically to the lower income community who don't really have access to expensive sport equipment that's necessary to play, let's say baseball or football. A lot of these kids are accustomed to just going to the corner bodega, picking up a ball, mm-hmm. and going right down the block, and you got a game, and they have a sport. So I pretty much took it upon myself to just organize and bring some structure to the game, some incentives, and then also offer some resources for the game.
One of the things that I've discovered after working with nonprofit organizations for so many years is that when you're a founder, you come with a different kind of spirit and passion for this work. And many times founders have been doing the work without any support and any funders. I'm sort of interested in your sharing, with us how you got involved with Wallball. Why Wallball?
So it's an interesting story. I mean, I am on my 6th year now, and as you said, little support. I've been doing this for 5 years without a salary, and just a lot of passion. And that passion comes from my brother, who passed away in Staten Island on Father Capodanno. He passed away in a car accident. And the year after his passing, I hosted a handball tournament in his memory. A lot of us grieve differently. I'm more of an introvert, and the way that I expressed my grief, or the way that I wanted to honor his memory, was to bring people his age together for a positive and common purpose. And for me, that was handball. It was something that him and I used to do. We live in Stapleton, in the North Shore of Staten Island, and we used to go down the block to the projects in the Stapleton houses and play handball together on Saturdays for, little bets or, chores. You got to wash the dishes if you win. And that was my way of just honoring his memory. So when I hosted this tournament, I put up some flyers around the neighborhood, and I was not expecting a ton of people, and I actually received a ton of people.
Wow.
A ton of kids, a ton of teenagers, and the very first tournament was sponsored by his school, which is Moore Catholic High School. He was on the football team, he was on the baseball team, really talented athlete. And so his football team gave me $500 to fill this tournament, and I bought some beautiful trophies and some t-shirts, and I printed some flyers, and I mean, a whole bunch of kids and teenagers showed up to play, and a lot of them, didn't even know him. They just had a passion for the sport. So when I saw that there was so much interest in the actual sport of handball, I said, why isn't anybody doing anything for this sport? It exists. It's been around over 100 years in the city, and it's obviously the city is very accommodating when it comes to the sport, because we have over 2,000 handball courts in the city. The city knows how popular the sport is, but I think the challenge is that sport is popular amongst a community of people who don't receive the resources and are economically disadvantaged. And so I think that for me, that was my motivation as well, to be really hands-on with the sport and to give these kids sort of an outlet. And I had today, we're up to like our 30th event within 6 years. We've thrown about 30 free handball tournaments. We don't charge. We've partnered with, right now, I mean, we're at like 25 different partnerships with the Parks Department, with Red Bull, with Modell's, with CUNY. I mean, the list goes on and on. And
sound like you've done both your homework, and I don't see Wallball moving out of the picture anytime soon.
We'll be around. I mean, right now we have requests from almost 3 out of the 5 borough presidents. They push us to host more and more events in their boroughs. The council, the New York City Council, is behind us, and we receive a ton of support. But I think part of that success and that support comes from the fact that nobody is doing what we do. We're very niche, and we have our pulse is within the community. I'm a handball player. I come from the neighborhood. I didn't necessarily live in the projects, but I did live off the block from the projects. So everybody that lived in there did become my friends, and so we're on the ground. We're very grassroots. We know what they need. We know what they want, and we aren't afraid to roll up our sleeves and walk into the projects and give them exactly what it is that they're lacking.
Well, thank you very much,
Thank
Jazz. You can see where the excitement for the sport comes from.
Yes.
And all. Let's now welcome information from Natalie from the Staten Island Slim Down. It's something I think about every day, how I can be slimmer and more fit, not just from the outside, but also from the inside. How did Staten Island Slim Down get started?
Well, thank you for having us. It's always a pleasure to see you, Doctor, and I want to say I commend you on this not-for-profit that you have. It sounds like a wonderful way to honor your brother.
Yes.
Thank you.
So you just keep on going. Your passion is just infectious. Infectious. I caught the bug. I want to go play Wallball.
Amazing.
Okay?
Yep.
So you asked about Staten Island Slim Down, and Tony Buxavilles is a personal trainer who had a vision, and he wanted to start energizing the community with ways of getting fit for all different ages. And so he set his mind on putting together a program. We're in our 5th year now. And every year, starting in January, we host a friendly 10-week competition. And people don't necessarily have to be competitors. You can win a prize. The focus is not necessarily on how many pounds you lose. It's more of a combination of a compelling story or how your life has been improved by the program. And the focus is more on getting people moving, taking responsibility for their own bodies, focusing on what they're putting in, and getting re-energized. And for many people, it actually is saving lives, because we've had older people, younger people, we've had people on medication get off their medications, diabetics who are no longer taking medicine because they lost enough weight to stabilize their blood sugar, and people who have sat on their couches and been couch potatoes, who have traded that in now for doing something more energizing, and as a result have felt that they've gotten their lives back.
Yes.
And, all of us know what we have to do, or many of us do, and can't necessarily put that into play because of, for whatever reason, life gets in the way. And this is something we look forward to every year in January. We've become a large group of friends and workout partners, all who are working out and working towards the same goal, and that is to get the word out that you can be healthier, you can eat better. Certainly, if I'm not where I need to be, I'm on my way. And it's a reminder every year to try harder to do better.
Yes. Saying that, NTAC has worked very hard, very diligently to bring people together, not just for the purpose of meeting each other, but how can you collaborate, dovetail, connect, to align, your work, share your resources so that you don't have to do the work over, for the first time. Let's shift a little bit in terms of what do you think people need to know? People from Staten Island, what do you think they need to know about your work? And if your work goes beyond the Staten Island community, just say, something about that. Have you identified what you feel is the most important thing for people to know about the Slim Down program?
I think that one of the main things they need to look for is January 10th is our launch. It's a kickoff. It varies the location, so we'll start getting the word out where exactly it's going to be. But mark your calendars. January 10 is a fabulous kickoff. Everybody comes out and they, get information as to what we're going to do next, and then we focus on 10 weeks of fitness and wellness and getting ourselves acquainted with a fitness regimen and I don't want to say a diet. I don't want to say that word. But January is a good time of year that everybody reevaluates where they are.
That's right.
And where they want to be.
That's right.
And so once a week we'll be getting together for a fitness surprise. We don't tell you what it is. And so once you come out to the kickoff, we'll tell you where to go. If you can't make it to the kickoff, what I want people to know is Staten Island Slim Down, one word, spell out Staten Island, and go there and look at our resources. We have a plethora of resources. I mean, it is a state-of-the-art website that is provided for free. Our focus is to remove all barriers, that people would normally say, I don't have money to go to a gym, I don't have money for a personal trainer, I don't know what kind of food I should take. There is a plethora of information, videos, tools, support, motivation, meal plans, nutrition lessons, cooking lessons. I mean, you couldn't afford to pay for all of this free resource for 10 weeks to help get yourself healthy.
And who provide all these free services? I recall you mentioning the founder's name was Tony.
Tony Buxavilles.
And so what is his credentials, his background, and who else works with him to provide the nutritional and the menu of services that you just described?
Yes, Tony is a certified trainer. He's a renowned author. He's written a number of books on fitness, and he collaborated with a doctor at the College of Staten Island who was a nutritionist.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And physical therapist, Dr. Becker, Margaret Becker.
The Staten Island Slim Down is really what we want the community to walk away with, because it is nonprofit, it is free of charge, and it is available around the clock to help people to just live a better, healthier life. Let me ask you the question about if people wanted to get involved, how would they, and I know, and I'm target the question at you, Jazz, first. I know you work in different, communities on Staten Island. If someone wanted to get involved, how would they contact you, and what would they need to, is there an eligibility criteria, or how do people get involved?
Well, the great thing about what we do is there isn't a lot of red tape. There isn't a lengthy application process. It's simply go to the website, see what we have coming up, and you can click. We're actually relaunching a brand new, same thing, state-of-the-art website with a lot of resources, and we service anywhere from 7-year-olds all the way to as old as you want to be and as much as you can play and as far down as you can bend. So you just simply visit the website. It's www.wallballworld.com, and you can look at our upcoming events calendar. And if it is within your age group or within your skill level, you're welcome to just click on it and register. And we also have a huge social media presence. We have a couple thousand people that follow us around the city. So you can find us on Facebook at Wallball World or at US Wallball. You can find us on Twitter at Wallball World, and you can also find us on Instagram at Wallball World. Or you can, look me up, Jasmine Ray. I'm always available to speak to the community.
Is there a personal telephone number you're trying to put out there, Jasmine?
Absolutely not. No, thank you.
Speaking of upcoming events, let's shift and talk about, are there anything specific that is coming up? You mentioned January, but is there any workshops, any events that are scheduled before that? Or if not, how do you get on the waiting list or begin the registration process for your January launch?
Not aware of anything coming up in the near future, but we are in the strategic phase of planning for what's ahead. We always try to get an exciting cycle of events going, what we do is we change up every week a different fitness surprise. In the past, we've had Tai Chi, we've had Zumba, we've had yoga, we've had aerobics.
And maybe now you can have handball.
I don't know how it's going to work with 250 people.
Okay.
You know, that might be difficult. So, you know, we try to bring, we've had kickboxing. So we try to bring a variety of activities that one might not try without this opportunity. And from it, you know, people get excited, and you know, it generates excitement. It generates families coming out together. It generates community and friendships. I was part of the initial, I'm a volunteer, and I was part of the initial first graduating class of Slim Down. And
I was about to ask that question. You know how on the programs where the people are talking about hair, and they said, not only am I a client, I'm the owner, but I'm also, you know, client and participant. You were just about to say that you've participated in the first class?
Yes, and I'm still friends with many of those first participants, and you know, we have a little committee. It's called the Friends of Staten Island Slim Down, and so as the years go on and the group grows, we are always looking for volunteers to help man the tables and direct people and run the events. We are looking for sponsors to help fund this, because it is a little costly to run the events. We need, you know, a DJ, we need a space. All of these things need, unfortunately, to be paid for, so that the participants don't have to reach into their pockets, because we want to make it easy and unencumbered for the participants to enjoy fitness and wellness.
Yes.
So we're in our 5th year, and we're in the strategic part of planning. If anybody wants to sponsor us, we're available. Staten Island Slim Down. You have your name put on a T-shirt. You have your business put on all our materials. It's boldly shown at our kickoff, and we have some faithful partners, but we certainly need to expand that so that we can give good gifts at the award ceremony and keep this going.
And keep it going. Jazz, what is on the forefront for Wallball? I mean, I met you, almost a year ago, and since that time, I have learned so much about Wallball. I had never heard of it before. I'm a Southern girl from Memphis, Tennessee, and Wallball wasn't, played, in my neighborhood. But as I said, since we have met, I've heard so much, and in your presentation, you mentioned even how many courts there were. And so you've obviously done, your homework. Have you been involved as a competitor, or that's the question. Are you a competitor, a former competitor?
I used to play a lot more than I do today. Unfortunately, I don't really have the time to compete. I wish I did. I'm a natural born athlete. I've been in martial arts since I was 13 and running marathons. So handball was just like a natural progression for me, and I picked it up naturally. But as far as from where we met and where we are today, I want to explain first the reason why we call it Wallball is because the International Olympic Committee suggested that we call it Wallball, and that's because we are pushing for the IOC to recognize us.
What is IOC?
IOC is the International Olympic Committee.
Okay.
And so currently there's a sport in the Olympics called handball, and they suggested to differentiate and avoid any type of confusion with the sport of handball that already exists, which is the one that you throw in a net, to call it something more appropriate for what it is, which is a ball and a wall. So we call it Wallball.
What does a wall ball look like?
I'm so glad you asked. Here it is.
Let me see that.
And it's soft, and you can play it barehanded.
Spalding. That's a Spalding,
Yeah, just
no?
like well, it's not exactly a Spalding, but Spalding used to make handballs, and actually we're going to be launching our own handball within the next few months.
Fantastic.
Yep, I leave to China next week, and we will have our own ball on the market.
Wait a minute. Are you telling me that you're going to be the first female from Staten Island
Yes.
who's designed a wall ball?
I think I'm the first female on the planet that has designed a handball specifically for the sport.
Now, that is what the Staten Island community needs to know.
Yes.
That Staten Island is on the move, and they might as well get behind this wall ball because it's on its way.
They heard it first here.
You've heard it
Yes.
first at the Staten Island Community Television
Can I get
program.
you to sign the ball so I can have the first ball, you know?
I am so humbled by that request. I don't know that I have a signature yet, but sure. So I have China coming up, and then this weekend we're actually hosting a tournament in partnership with.
Now, what are you doing in China? Say it again.
A number of things. Number one,
Just tell me two.
Okay, we're manufacturing a ball.
Okay.
And they are also interested in having our annual International Tournament of Champions on location in China. So the last one was June of this year. We had it at Brooklyn Bridge Park, and we had 23 countries from around the world fly in and play world-class handball with the people who play it here on the street, you know? So nobody would really know it, but outside of the United States, handball is a professional sport.
Wow.
And so we had those pros fly in and play with our community. So China, USA actually won, and China came in second place. So at their request, or per their request, they are flying me out there, and they want to host the next ITOC, International Tournament of Champions, in Shanghai, China. And we have partnered with a local community group called 49 Strong, and it's also supported by Debbie Rose, who is our North Shore Councilwoman, and that's what's coming up in Staten Island. And then going forward, we have a next tournament is in Queens with Councilman Ruben Wills in Jamaica, Queens. After that, we have a tournament in Orchard Beach with the borough president, Ruben Diaz Jr. And then following that in October, we have my brother's 5th annual memorial tournament at Lehman College in the Bronx. So it's grown 5 years strong, my brother's memorial tournament, and you know, it all started with his passing. Yeah.
You mentioned that you were from Stapleton.
I'm originally from Sunset Park, Brooklyn, but I have lived in Stapleton for over 15 years now.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been
now,
there
is there a Wallball court there?
There is. Right down the block, it's right on the corner of Broad Street and Tompkins. There's the Stapleton houses, and within the Stapleton houses, there are 2 handball courts. I'm actually glad you mentioned that because I have not only been advocating for the sport, but also somewhat of a youth advocate, and a lot of the kids who play at Stapleton Playground have told me that they wish they could play more, but that the courts were not maintained. There were weeds growing, people were graffitiing up the courts. So, you know, I decided to post. As I said, we have a very strong social media presence. So I took pictures and photos of these courts in Stapleton houses, and I put them up on my Facebook and on Twitter, and everybody heard my call, and within, I would say, 1 month, the Parks Department and Debbie Rose got involved, and they pulled the weeds, they painted the courts, they repaired them, and now my kids are back out there playing.
That's great.
Yep.
That's great.
That's fast.
Yeah.
You know, when I think
for
about
the city.
Exactly. When I think about all of the work that is being done with different segments of our population, seniors and people with special needs, and African American boys and girls and etc. It makes me very proud to know that there are programs where all all of the communities can participate. This is not an isolation of this one particular group versus, this one and that. It's all working toward living better lives. So I want to thank both of you all for coming, sharing your information about United States Wallball Association and about the Staten Island Slim Down. Continue the great work, that you're doing. Say hello to Tony, from all of us.
Thank you so much for inviting us.
And I look forward to continuing to build capacity for you to do even a greater work.
Thank you so much for having us.